Hi people, Daniel from Devon Sons Guitars here, and welcome to the A to Z of guitars. Right now we're on I for intonation. Now, intonation is a really important thing to understand for when you're setting up and tuning your guitar. Now, one of the most common questions I get asked on my YouTube videos is why are the saddles not all in a straight line? Why do they often seem to tilt backwards as you go from the high string to the low string? Well, there's a reason for that is incredibly important. Let's get into that now. Now, intonation is something very important to understand if you want to maintain your own guitar. The reason intonation is important is it's the correct intonation that ensures your guitar is in tune wherever you play it on the fretboard. Now, sometimes I get comments on my YouTube channel and via various other social medias with people asking why is it that their guitar tends to go out of tune as they go up the fretboard. They can play it open strings and tune it perfectly, but by the time they're getting up to the 12th fret and beyond, their notes aren't in tune anymore. Well, it's to do with how a string vibrates. So I'm going to use some diagrams here. Now let's picture your guitar from the side with the string going from the bridge over the neck and to the nut. Now, where it goes over the neck, we've got the frets. And the 12th fret is what we call the octave fret. The 12th fret should be exactly half of the length of the string. Now, that exact length of the string varies depending on the scale length that you're playing. So for example, a guitar has a shorter scale length than a bass. Now, I've talked about scale length before in other videos and I'll link to them in the description below, so I won't go too much into scale length now. But regardless of the scale length, your 12th fret is always your octave fret. It's always the midpoint of the string. Now imagine you're holding down at the 12th fret. What's going to happen when you pluck your string is you're going to vibrate the bit of the string between the bridge and your finger at the 12th fret. And that piece of the string, because it is exactly half the length of the entire open string, will play the same note as the open string but an octave higher. I hope you're with me so far. Now imagine you haven't got your guitar correctly intonated. Maybe the problem is your guitar string is a bit short because your bridge or the saddles on the bridge are a bit closer to the 12th fret than they should be. This will mean when you hold down the 12th fret and pluck it, what you're finding is you're plucking a bit of string which isn't quite half the length of the guitar string, and it will sound sharp. Conversely, if your bridge was too far back and you plucked your string is now going to be slightly longer past the 12th fret to the bridge than half the length of the string, and that will make your note slightly flat. Set it exactly right. What you'll find is when you play the open string, you get your natural note. Let's say we're looking at the bass E, you'll get your E note. When you play at the 12th fret, you'll get an exact octave higher, and if you play any other frets, you'll get a correct tuning for those frets, because those frets divide that string up using a certain ratio into the notes. That's why you find as you go up the fretboard, the fret spacing gets smaller and smaller. Now that ratio of how the frets are divided up along the string length depends on the scale length. Again, that's in another video, but essentially the scale length is you measure from the nut to the 12th fret and double it. So on a guitar, you're very likely to have 25.5 inches as your scale length. Inches is the traditional measurement that we use, or 24 3/4. So intonation is about making sure your guitar is in tune on every fret. It's about making sure your string length is exactly right. And the best way to do that is to tune your guitar to an open note and then to tune it at the 12th fret and see that you've got an exact octave. Remember, if your note's a bit sharp, your saddle is a bit too close to the 12th fret and it needs to go back. If your note is a bit flat, your saddle is a bit too far away and needs to go forward. If you want to see how to actually do all those adjustments, I do have a long setup video which covers all of that, but that's not part of the A to Z series. Hopefully though, this explains intonation to you so you've got the correct understanding that you need to make sure your guitar is in order. Don't forget the I that you saw at the beginning, I for intonation, comes from the start of a well-known guitar brand. Do you know what it is? If you want to find out and confirm if you're right or find out if you're wrong, look at my video which is coming out at the end of this series. If you're watching live, it's coming out on the 28th of February 2021. If you're watching in the future, check out the playlist and find it. In the playlist, not only will I tell you where that I comes from, I will also tell you where all the other letters in this series come from. A bit like a quiz, but with no prizes. Now, if you found the video about intonation interesting, you may find the video about scale length informative. Here it is. It's a video which looks at different types of scale length and why we have them, very strongly linked to intonation. But until next time, happy strumming.